Sorry, Mr. Bessie Homestead. Oh man, what a day! Just put up a little sniglet of a video for some of the stuff I've been having fun with this morning. Uh, yeah, I was out watering animals, and the well dropped out, and so I went to checking it out. I had power, at the panel. I had power out to the. When I went out to check to see that I had power to the pump itself, for heaven's sakes, I opened up the electrical lid, and I had a huge, a huge colony of fire ants living there. And just tens of thousands of them. It was amazing. So they all come swarming out. So I knew before I was going to be able to get in there and really do any work, I had to disrupt that nest to the point of them not being around that anymore. So get out there, I start shoveling out a fire ant. And I thought, when I get down to where, I can't find any more evidence of them, I'll stop there. That ended up me digging a pretty deep hole because they were in there quite a ways. So anyway, but even at that, I didn't even think about them being down that well header tube in any quantities, because that's just plastic in there. But when I pulled that regulator out and I was taking the top off to see what was going on, there was probably 200 or 300 of them jumped on my hands and just lit me up. And what should have been a real quick, simple, easy check to find out what the heck is going on turned into quite the little project. I did get my little camera set up here, and we're going to be taking you out to the field and so forth, trying out my little tripod mount. Seems to be holding it pretty stable. Let me cover a few things we're doing around here. Other than getting new camera equipment and updating the website and all that, or the website, the channel, things of that nature. Whew, it's hot. Really hot. It was yesterday. It got up over 100 degrees, and I think the humidity matched. But anyway, we're going to be making a lot of changes to the site, working on some of the new artwork and stuff of that nature. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm starting to work on these GMO, putting all that information together. I'm going to give you a little heads up here for you folks that are regular subscribers. Perk up your ears. They have, and I'm not talking about little tinfoil hat groups. I'm talking about reputable institutes have made the correlation and link between the inputs. A lot of it's caused by the inputs that farmers use on GMO products, which they're not going to discourage the use of those, because that's what makes them unique, is that you can have a little corn plant come up and dump a gallon of Roundup on it, and it'll be just fine. Everything else around will be dead, but that little corn plant will be just fine. It's creating a lot of health hazards out there, folks. And they've linked this pretty tightly to a lot of the diseases that are plaguing Americans right now. The diabetes, the high blood pressures, blah, 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 blah. Obesity. Guess what? Yeah, they got you craving foods. Be advised. So, and you'll get a lot of the information from there, which I hope triggers you to go out and start looking yourselves. Please try to stay away from tinfoil hat stuff, because they'll tell you that the mothership has landed and that the aliens are trying to poison us all. Don't go there. Get your facts. Because it's easy to look at those kind of things, and when you start seeing some of it being way the heck out there, then you begin to associate it all with being way out there. You don't want to do that. That's a pretty dangerous thing for you to do. So I'm really pushing hard to get this up and running, and so that you folks can get the facts. It's not good. Okay. So as a subscriber, well, let me give you a piece of advice. This is from me to you. Go to farmers markets. Find out who's got some CSAs where you can buy your chicken, your pork, your beef that is pure grass-fed beef. Same thing with free-range chickens, pasture-raised. Same thing with your pigs. They're out there, folks. There's a lot of the variety of pigs out there, the American Guineas and the coons and stuff of this nature. They're grazers, folks. So get out there and start getting out of the grocery stores. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, it costs more money. Okay? Unless you want to figure in what you're spending on additional vitamins and probiotics and doctor visits and sometimes some very expensive medical bills for treating things that can be treated just with a little diet and exercise. But when they say diet and exercise, talking about real food, not that garbage you're getting in the stores. Okay? And yeah, I think in the long run, you save money. For darn sure, you'll improve your health. Okay? You will improve your health. So there's my advice to my subscribers. Give you a head start. Run, don't walk away from those grocery stores. Okay? I know they're convenient. I know it makes it easy. And I know you got a busy life. Okay? But every time you do that, I don't have a problem, Mom, if you want to play Russian roulette with your health. But sit down and think for 30 seconds. Do I want to play Russian roulette with my children's health? Because it affects them too. So think about it. It's poison. It's truly poison. And the human body is not designed to function on that stuff. And you need to be aware of that. And like I said, I'll be giving you the research information that shows bad, and the correlation between the use of this stuff and the inputs that this stuff is grown in. It's damaging our health, folks. And we can fix this. All we got to do is quit buying it. And there's organic farmers out there. I mean, now if the whole country decided to run off and buy organic one day, well, you find that you don't have enough organic farmers out there. But when you start getting off the stuff, you'll find that, it works pretty good. And you're going to start feeling better. You're going to be healthier. And you're probably going to live longer. And get some of your weight under control. Okay? Because obesity is rampant in this country for a reason. Okay? A reason. It's what you're eating is causing problems. And we'll get into that. So let's move on from there. We'll get out of grocery stores, okay? You're killing yourself. And get out and do some work. It's good for you. If you haven't started in on your fall garden, if you've taken your garden out and so forth, then here's what you need to do. Get out there and get it tilled. You want to till it 2 or 3 times here before winter sets in on you. Start getting your compost and manures down. Okay, you can throw hot manure down on a garden that you're not going to rework again until spring. Just put it out there because you're going to turn it all in and cover it in hay and so forth. Leaves from your yard, throw them out there. Just kind of make a big pile of compost, and that will over the winter start decomposing, and then next spring, early spring, you can go out there and start turning that in. Okay, and it'll give you some real light, easy to manage soil. Makes it easy to hoe out the weeds. If you keep turning it, I always like to turn mine 3-4 times before I plant. It pretty much does a lot of damage to the root structure of the new plants, and you just don't have a problem with I'm watching some storm clouds roll in because if they get too close to me here, you're going to see me turn this thing off and run like crazy um, so that I don't short out my switch box because right now it's kind of sitting outside. I need to get that back under cover and I haven't done it yet. Being lazy. Don't tell anybody. But anyway, do that. Start working your garden in now. If you're going to plant a fall garden and stuff, great. This year I'm not fooling with that. I have got to get some of these bigger projects wrapped up, and I just don't have the time for it. Getting old and slow. My grandpa used to say, and when I was young, I just did not understand this, so most of you youngins won't. But he used to look me dead in the eye and say, boy, it takes me all day to do what I used to do all day. I understand that saying now. Don't quite jump as high and move as fast as you used to. So, but if you need to, get out there and if you're closing it down for the year, you're not done. You really do need to get in there and get after it. And one of the things that I like to do is before I put any compost on it or anything else, once I've done the initial turning, once I've pulled out the other garden, me and these chickens are about to dance. I got some roosters in here that next week, getting too big, too ornery, causing too many problems, really. So it's time to make a call on these boys. But anyway, as saying about your garden, before you start putting your compost and manures and all that sort of stuff on it, pull a soil sample, take it down to your local extension, see what your, what minerals you're needing in that soil and so forth. A lot of times you can treat that organically and get, just cover it with certain products to improve your nitrogen and so forth, and get your soil ready for next year. Give it time to heal and recover. But do keep it covered. A lot of straw, a lot of hay. If you're doing the back to Eden garden, pile on the mulch, whatever it takes. Throw on hot manure, that's fine, because it's not going to be hot by the time you leave it set all winter and turn it back in again. But get it ready. Start getting ready for next spring. Right now. Get started on it. It'll make your job easier, and you'll have a lot more fun come next spring, and a lot better crops. And like I said, it's like down here this year, okra is the thing, man. If I'd planted 10 acres in okra, man, I'd be the okra king right now. Okra just did great down here, and everybody that I've talked to says, yeah, unbelievable the amount of okra we're getting. Other plants, not so much. Down here, usually right at the end of May or beginning of June is when, on average, we planted peas. Never had a problem with it before. My neighbor went in early with peas because he was machine planting. He went in probably the first part of May, and he did all right with it. We went in the end of May, did not do all right with it. The heat and so forth just cooked them. Just cooked the plants. It wasn't good. So we did get some early crop out of it, but they didn't produce like they should have. So the seasons, they be a changing, folks, and really need to kind of keep an eyeball on it. So I'm pretty much starting to run with, as soon as it looks like we're out of freezing temperatures, I'm going to start. Because we seem to be running about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of what we used to in weather. Climate changes, it's been changing since this world started revolving, okay? So don't sweat it. It has nothing to do with greenhouse gases. As a matter of fact, I get a big kick out of it. They get talking about all these greenhouse gases and all the problems it's causing. And oh my goodness, global warming and blah, it happens. There's greenhouse gases out there. Back when the dinosaurs roamed the planet, there was a lot more greenhouse gases. Plants grew bigger, producing more oxygen. Here's one they don't like to talk about. If you could do like a play the Jurassic Park kind of thing, okay, and or wave a magic wand and make a brontosaurus appear in your backyard, and think, well, I got plenty of trees around here, though it'd be able to do okay. All right, here's what you're gonna find out. And when your brontosaurus falls over dead very quickly, and you get the vet out there, vet's gonna look at you and go, he suffocated. He suffocated. And you're gonna go, what? Why? Because the oxygen back then was because of all the plants that absorb these greenhouse gases and grow like crazy from it, produce oxygen. And the oxygen on this planet back then is nothing like we have today. A brontosaurus would die. They didn't have huge lung capacity, folks. They didn't need them. The oxygen was that rich. People don't think about that. Then you start doing while you're in your classes in agriculture, suddenly you find out something. Our plant life would do a lot better if we put them in a greenhouse and exposed them to greenhouse gases. They need them. They are lacking in them. The science is settled? I don't think so. Okay. I mean, the scientists want it to be settled to some degree, but they still want to keep doing the research because that's how they make their money, folks. If you go to the government and say, I want $1 million to research how tall a tree can grow, they're probably going to tell you no. But if you went and said, I want research money to see why the tree doesn't grow twice as big as it does today, based on the effects of greenhouse or global warming and the greenhouse effect, they write you the check, folks. Yeah, that's what's going on. The research and so forth, they get paid. That's why the ones that come out and say, yeah, it's not settled science, were the same scientists that worked on this stuff originally. But guess what? Now they're retired. They're not looking for grants anymore. Now they can tell you the truth. So wake up. There's a lot of information out there. We used to have a lot higher greenhouse gases. We also had a much higher oxygen-rich environment because of it, because the plants and so forth had grown enormous. Look at the animals, okay? To feed a brontosaurus, you'd have to have half the state of Tennessee because he's going to clean it, okay? Back then, not so much. They had larger plant life, different weather. And it changes and will continue to change. Okay, I've seen it change in my lifetime. Man, when I was a kid, you'd stand out waiting for that school bus. Starting in November, you were standing in snow, pretty deep snow. Okay, I don't see that anymore. All right, everybody go, oh yeah, global warming. Well, when you get to be my age, something happens. And I'm gonna run through this real quick with you. You get to listen to the scientists starting their nonsense on some of this stuff way back when. And we have went through, first we were headed for the big ice age. By now, and I don't know how those people are living there, New York City was supposed to have been covered in 20-foot ice. They must have put in one heck of a defrost system. Then they were talking about that, on the flip side of the coin, that didn't happen. This was supposed to happen in the 80s. They came out with another story, and they started in with the big global warming, yada, yada, yada. The seas were going to rise up, and now New York City is going to be 20 foot underwater by the 90s. I guess they put snorkels on the buildings because it looks like the city's still there. And now they switched it over to, well, the polar ice caps are all melting, and that's going to be a big problem. And they sent an icebreaker. If you remember the news a while back, a year or so ago, they sent an icebreaker down to check to see how far the ice pack had receded back up since their last run down there. And I had to chuckle because it was on the news, but people didn't check the whole story. What were they doing down there? Got their little icebreaker stuck. And they sent another icebreaker down there to get it out, and it got stuck. And they had to send another one. Finally, they got the thing out there and got it out there. Okay? And here's the problem, folks. They were getting stuck 300, I think, some odd miles away from the last time they ran into ice pack. Shrinking? Sure couldn't tell that from those 3 icebreakers stuck down there. Start listening and put the pieces together. And you'll find, yeah, climate changes. It's going to change. Is it caused by man? Probably not. All kidding aside, probably not. I mean, do we need to lower our carbon footprint, quit polluting, quit poisoning the ground? Yeah, that's just good stewardship. That's common sense. Because let me tell you something, all this poisoning of the ground, guess what, folks? It's poisoning you. Ain't gonna hurt planet Earth. Okay, planet Earth, just shake it off. You won't. Keep that in mind. So start thinking. Start using your heads. Look at all the information and stay away from the tin hat sites. Because they're not going to give you anything but the mothership has landed. Okay? So, like I said, global warming, all these different panic things, they're trying to get you to live in fear, folks, and don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Climate going to change? You bet it is. Our temperatures that we normally have down here move 200 miles up north, and we'll be getting delta temperatures up here most probably. It's what happens. I had read a document put out by the National Weather Service that since they started tracking weather, we are somewhere in like a 1930s weather pattern right now. They're not surprised by it. It's science. Climate changes. Okay. The poison we're putting on the ground, that's a different story. Okay. That you better wake up and fix for your family's sake. Anyway, this one went real long. I got roosters crowing at me. I've still got some work to get done because if it starts raining and all that electric's exposed out there, I'm going to have a little fireworks display back there. So I'm going to get off of here. We're going to have a lot more videos coming at you. Primarily, I want to get those GMO ones out to you to give you the information. Okay? So that you know what's going on and how it's going on. And like I said, we stayed away from the tinfoil hat stuff and just stuff that's solid research from reputable organizations. So it's something you can look at and go, yeah, this is serious. And it is serious. Subscribers, get out of the grocery stores. Okay? Get out of them. I won't catch you in there. Y'all have a wonderful day. This is Rich from Tennessee Homestead. Take care.